What's going on, peeps? It's Carlos, my wife Lexi. Welcome back to the channel. Today we just wanted to talk about uh, something real uh, that a lot of people are going through right now, and which is struggles financially, and a lot of people are losing their homes and belongings and property and stuff like that, and we have too. Um, we're midlife, we're middle age, and we didn't plan on being where we are now. In this point in our life, being broken and homeless and struggling, and living in our daughter's garage, and having to start over. But here we are. But the one thing that we want to share is that how we made it through without attacking our relationship and attacking our marriage, and how we stuck together despite everything that we've gone through, the good, the bad, the ugly. And so we just want to talk about that in this video, and hopefully for any of you couples out there who are going through this transition, who are in this ugly phase right now, that hopefully we can give you some peace of mind, and know that you're not alone, and there's other people out here struggling, and this is how we stick together, and how what gets us through, and hopefully that'll help you in your situation.
Agreed. Everything he said.
For a lot of reasons, I walked away from a career after 17 years, and Lexi had already left her full-time 9 to 5 to pursue her passions and her goals. And things got rough quick. Like, things got, as a matter of fact, it took me almost a month to get my last paycheck, which is what really like set shit in motion, like set the ball rolling. Is that we had immediate bills that were coming out, and I was due one more full paycheck, which I'm pretty sure I earned a full paycheck, but I didn't get that. And it took a month to get that full paycheck, and
My business wasn't, at that time had died down, and so we depended mainly on Carlos' paycheck, to pay the bills. My business, had only been up and running for a year maybe at that time, full time, a year.
yeah,
Because before that I was doing it part time while I worked a regular 9 to 5, and so we relied. Carlos' paycheck is what paid the majority of our bills, like the household essential bills. So when that happened, then we had to wait a month. It started setting everything just started going back. It just started going backwards. And it was a domino effect, because now by the time we got that paycheck, we were catching up on last month, and now we needed this month was already there. So we had to focus on this month now, and it literally was a domino effect.
yeah. So I walked away again for many reasons, but one of them was I wanted to pursue my passions. Like the company, the franchise I worked for the entire 17 years. They sold, and so it was a new company, and again, like there's other reasons, but so at that point, like, I was dealing with a lot personally and mentally and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to step away and follow my dreams and stuff like that. And like I said, because we didn't get that last paycheck in a timely manner, like, it was a scramble at that point. So now, like, we didn't, if we would have got that last paycheck in a timely manner, then we would have been able to pay those immediate bills, and then maybe we could have, like, structured and figured out a way. But because it was immediate, like, hey, when I was supposed to get paid, I didn't get paid, and it was like, bam, now, we need to do something. So, long story short, we wound up selling the house that we had,
But we
And
moved to Florida.
yeah, we wound up selling the house that we had. Well, we moved to Florida, and in the process, we were selling the house, and we sold the house in Florida, and we sold our house while we were in Florida, and we took that money, and we invested in a booth inside of a really large flea market in Florida in the area, which was very more well known. It was the festival flea market, and so we invested. I mean, what, 5 grand, 6 grand,
Maybe more, but
maybe
yeah.
more. Like, I mean, we had to pay the rent, the security
Deposit.
deposit. We had to buy cashier stands and stands for this and racks for that and
We
stuff like
had to
that.
make a trip back to North Carolina to our storage facility, our storage unit here, to come get all of my crafting supplies because I didn't take everything with us. So that was an expense added on to that because we had to come drive here, pick up all the stuff, drive back.
But that was about $1,000 trip
Yeah, the trip alone
because
because we ended up staying in a hotel. Like
we
it was a
had
whole,
yeah we had to stay in a hotel.
yeah.
It was a whole ordeal, and so we wound up spending all that money. We were promised that the place we took a booth. We took a large size booth in a slower area because she gave it to us. The lady gave it to us as a discount, and with the promise that they were, building the area up, and they were trying to scale it and get some more businesses in there to draw more attention and stuff like that, which never happened. And to be honest, and to keep this story as short as possible, to be honest, what we didn't know then was that by the time we were paying all this money for the deposit and stuff like that, the festival market was closing. It was closing within
At that point, we had already paid three. We had paid the month's our security deposit, all of that, and we had been there for 3 months. So that was $1,000 just to rent for those 3 months.
each,
Each month was $1,000.
and
It was just
we got a letter one day
when
or
the
an email or
no.
something.
I went in that day to open the shop, and there was a letter under the gate, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And I open it, and I like immediately I just started crying because at that point I felt like, oh my god, like we've invested all of this money that we could have done something else with, or just saved it for this time, right? For
Right.
now, built a savings account with it. But I literally I just started crying, and it took me about an hour or two before I called Carlos, and I was like, I sent him a picture of the letter, and then I FaceTimed him, and I was broken. Like I at that point I was so broken that I was showing up there just because we had already paid a full month's rent. So I was just showing up because it was my shop, and it was what I really wanted. But I was so heartbroken, and I felt deceived, lied to. Yeah, it was heartbreaking. It was just really heartbreaking.
So we spent all that money that we lost. Like, at that point, we were running out of money because there was no business coming because they were closing, and we decided.
Everybody knew it though because like there was people that were coming in like, oh, I heard that they were closing, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like we just got here, like we're
Yeah,
good. And then when I got the letter, I realized, oh, that's what they were talking about. Like they knew this was happening. Like people outside,
customers.
customers knew that this was happening before the people that were renting booths there. And let me just tell you that this place has been in that particular spot for over 20 years. Like there was businesses in there that have been in there for over 20 years.
Now, mind you, as we were leaving, there were businesses still coming
Coming
in.
in, yeah.
There were still businesses renting booths, and so we had decided, like, you know, what's the point? Like, we now, at this point, we had done some other things and stuff like that to help out some family and stuff with the money that we got from the house. But we were like, well, there's no point in keep investing in this business, in this marketplace, and it's not gonna be here in a year. So we left. We packed it up. We packed up everything, and everything we bought just pretty much went to waste. And so we made some money off the house of the sale, but
The sale of the house.
excuse off the sale of the
You said it the other way around.
off the sale of the house. And but keep in mind that when you don't have money coming in, you know money goes quick,
Money's
and
going out, but there's nothing coming in to
and
replace any
we
of it.
we had moved to, this was in Florida, like from North Carolina, so like the price of the cost of living was much higher. And we quickly scrambled to try to find jobs. And we were there for we had temporary jobs here and there, whatever, that didn't last long. And eventually in April of 2025, the home we were staying at was sold, and we had to move into a hotel.
Yeah. That was probably I personally have never been in a situation where I didn't have a home, where I was homeless, or I was worried about the next day where was I gonna live or anything like I've never. I just turned 50 last month, and I've never experienced something like that. So I think that for me it was very hard. Not saying that it's not hard for anyone else, but somebody who has experienced it, like Carlos has in the past, and like he will tell you, he's lost everything twice and come back, right? Like, I've never had that. That's never happened to me.
She said it was like a superpower.
Like, yeah, like it's happened twice. Like, he came back. He came back to life. I never had. I was never in that kind of situation. I mean, I've gone through hard times in my life. Don't get me wrong. Never been rich. I've always worked and survived. Basically, just survived. So this was really hard. It was really hard because at that point, when we left from North Carolina, let me just add that when we left from North Carolina, at that point, we left in February. So at that point, our bills were 6 months behind. Like everything was at that point, everything was months behind. Credit cards, mortgage, like I deferred my mortgage 3 times before we sold. Like there was a lot in that. Before we left, I also, my truck was repossessed. And I think that the day that happened was the day that broke me. Like that day, I can remember feeling like, okay, this is really happening. Like
it was at midnight.
Yeah, like we're about to lose everything. Like at that, we were on live. I was, doing my crafting, selling my, my crafts, whatever, to my crafting people. And Harley was barking. She was being really annoying. And I'm like, little girl, like what the heck? And I thought, because she has this thing that when she wants to go to bed, she wants daddy to go to bed. Like when Harley says, I want to go to bed, daddy has to go to bed. Like it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, but daddy has to go to bed. So I thought that she was just harassing him because she wanted to go to bed. Well, it turns out, after we looked at the Ring camera, that she was doing that because she heard them outside when they were repossessing the truck.
They were hitching the car.
Yeah, they were taking the truck. And I remember crying that night. I remember telling Carlos, like, I feel like I'm losing grip. Like I feel like we're just losing everything. And it was, to some they would say, oh, it's just a car, but it was the meaning of it. It was the whole purpose of it was taken from me. I didn't just give it up. It got taken from me because I couldn't afford it, and that shit hurt. It hurt a lot. And I think a couple days later was when I was like, okay, I think that we need to go. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to have to make other plans, because the last thing I want to do is come home one day and they got locks on my house door and I can't get into it, even get my stuff. because that would have probably, I would have probably ended up in a cuckoo house somewhere.
That house was the only equity, the only money we
Yeah,
had.
that's all
So
we had.
like we were up, like the what we paid for the house and where the housing market was at that
It
point,
literally doubled.
like it literally doubled. So we wound up being really good. So like I said, in April 2025, we wound up in a hotel. And it was a struggle. Like I started doing ride share. Like I was working for Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacart, and Grubhub. Lexi at that point had found a job. So literally the hotel we were at was literally walking distance to the job because we were worried about losing the next car that we couldn't afford to pay for, and so we figured like at least if we lose the car, should be able to get to work. So,
Yeah.
and we were there for until we
July
left
4th.
July 4th, this past July 4th, when I made a video, and our daughter saw it, and urged us to come back to North Carolina. And she had, this space that you see us in now, which isn't, it isn't, it isn't a home, it isn't a house, but, it's, secure roof over the head, and, it's
It's our own
safe.
space.
And, we're here. I don't know if y'all can see Harley in the bed, but, they made it, as comfortable as they can make it for us. And that's where we've been since.
Bye-bye. We're never coming back. Hopefully.
That's his name, but maybe you need to talk to our son and see if you can stay then, and me and Harley we'll stay in the car. Like we'll pack up the car with everything that can fit, and I'll just stay with Harley in the car. Like, I'm out. Like, figure this shit out on yourself. Like, this is not working. Like, we need to go.